Thanks for tuning in, and welcome back to Costa Rica. In our previous episodes, we picked up our rental from Nomad America, headed south along the Pacific coast, discovering amazing beaches, thermal springs, waterfalls, and some great fried chicken. We explored the Osa Peninsula, where we saw some amazing birds and fish, experienced the clouds and completely different scenery while driving across from the Pacific to the Caribbean, and we have now arrived at Punta Uva on the south end of the Caribbean coast. It was raining a little bit when we got here, and it is supposed to rain for the next 24 hours or so. Stopped for a couple hours this afternoon, but tried to tuck the truck in the tent as far up underneath these palm trees as possible, because this was kind of not being poured upon when the rain was coming down. So you see there's a little kind of hole up under the canopy of these palm branches here. Not actually touching, well, a couple little fingers are. Hopefully, that'll keep us a little drier tonight.
Since it's not raining right now, seems like a good time to go and explore the beach. This is about as far south as we can go on the Caribbean coast, before we run into the Panamanian border. The Caribbean sand has a very different feel. Created more from shells and coral, it's much more coarse and fluffy and feels really good on your feet. Again, we have found ourselves on a mostly empty beach, other than the birds and the odd coconut. Have you ever seen a fruit like this before? I don't think I'll try it, but the ants sure seem to like it. Although the sun isn't shining, it's still pretty warm and humid here, and to be honest, it's nice to have a break from the sun. The rocks that get exposed at low tide here seem to be a good food supply for these birds. I'm not sure what they're eating, but I haven't seen them pull out any 1,200-legged, toxic, venomous orange sea monsters yet.
For a while now, there appear to have been rain showers out over the water, but luckily for us, it seems to have been staying out there and not getting any closer to shore. Though we got a little bit of rain overnight, we woke up to another cloudy but dry morning. Time to enjoy some Costa Rican coffee on the beach while we do our best to wake up and get the sand out of our toes. Since the weather is holding and it's not too wavy, I think it's time to jump in the water and explore. What the? It's a 1,200-legged toxic venomous orange sea monster. Huh. Hopefully you can't tell, but this underwater footage has been dramatically stabilized in edit, and though it didn't look rough on the surface, this water is really sloshing around. If you look at the debris in the water, you can see how much movement there is. Yeesh! Are the white ones more dangerous than the orange ones? Saltwater broccoli coral? The movement of the water, not having any flippers, and the fact that one hand is holding the camera makes it quite hard to hold steady, so I hope the added stabilization is at least making this footage watchable. The weather forecast keeps saying it's going to rain, but it seems to be just holding off the coast, so for now, we seem to be lucky. Well, there's one resource that we don't really have a lot of right here at this beach, and that's power. And I thought I'd show you something that we brought along with us that is working surprisingly well. This little foldable solar panel is quick and easy to set up and move around. It's got a bunch of USB outputs, and it's great for charging all sorts of stuff. I've got it right now just hooked into our little 3,800 milliamp hour battery pack. Charging that up, we're about 91%. And even though it looks like it's in the shade and there's not a lot of sun today, it is actually charging. Pretty impressed with that little solar panel, actually. Does not take a lot of sun to get it going. It's a 30-watt solar panel. It folds up into a really nice, neat little package. And when we're sitting somewhere and the truck's not running for a while, that's our only source of power. I'll leave a link in the video description if you guys are interested in it. Picked it up on Amazon. I think it was around $100. Really well put together. Happy with that, for sure. But while we were sitting on the beach this morning, it occurred to me that some of you may have never seen the inside of a rooftop tent. So it's pretty basic, but let me give you a little tour. We have a ladder. The ladder locks in place with these little knobs, so that's fixed. And this ladder supports this side of the tent after you fold it open. Going up, we have an opening that zips open. And from there, we can get into the tent. It's pretty simple inside the tent. There's a screen on each side, which you can open and close. And obviously, a screen on the front and a screen on the back. As I mentioned previously, we have our fan in here, and it's just hooked onto a little Velcro loop that's attached to the top bar. And these bars, you can see there's one bar over here, a center bar, and then obviously the same thing on the back side. And that's what holds the roof of the tent in its shape. Pretty basic. They're all pretty much the same layout setup. This one does not have kind of an awning over where you come in. Some of them do. Not really a whole lot going on in here other than a place to sleep, a couple of pockets, a whole lot of ventilation. Oh, and one more thing. This one has a really nice feature on the outside. This little bag that hangs here. And that's so When you come off the beach and your feet are covered in sand, you open up the bag, put your shoes in here, so that your sandy shoes or your dirty shoes stay on the outside of the tent. A little bit less sand goes in. We do have on the outside this little flap up here. You can release and that rolls down and it covers the screen from the outside. So all of the screened windows can be covered if it's rainy, as it will likely be later today. But they all do have sort of an extended roof over top of them, so even if it is raining in sort of a downward rain, not a sideways rain, you can keep the screens open and keep the ventilation going through. Now, the only thing that you may find a little bit difficult with a rooftop tent is being level. And on a nice sandy beach, it's not that hard. As you can see, this back wheel back here, I've dug down a little bit, and the front is actually dug down a very small amount too, to get this side of the truck level with the other side, and also front to back. We do find that being low on the foot side isn't too bad. Low on the head side's a little bit, gets a bit uncomfortable partway through the night. This rooftop tent is made by a company called COP. They are based in Costa Rica, and I think they've done a great job on this design. The fact that this is a rental and the tents are pretty much in constant use shows they are very durable, and I would expect they'll last a long time. Everything seemed to be high quality and well thought out. One thing with traveling like this in a small vehicle with a little space to keep things organized is...
Bruce? Yeah? Can't find the dish soap.
Do you know where my charge cord is?
Where's the pineapple?
Do you know where my little tripod is? How is it that there's so much sand in everything?
A talkie? It's time to clean out the truck.
Since the sun is shining, this is a good opportunity to pull everything out and do a bit of reorganization and cleanup. If you're planning a trip like this, which we highly recommend, get used to cleaning up sand. It will be everywhere. Done.
Oh yeah, that's better.
And we found 2 pineapples and a coconut. Now that the truck is all tidied up and squared away, we are taking advantage of the sunshine while we have it to dry out some clothes and get all of our camera gear, phones, lights, and other gear charged up before the storms actually roll in. What would you think the number 1 rule would be when you're looking for a camping spot? Don't park in a low spot, right? Well, I didn't think it would be an issue, and so far it hasn't been, but I do want to show you. You can kind of see up here. The waves have actually come over the top of the beach and started coming down. Now, luckily, this is all pretty loose sand, so it's getting absorbed before it gets down to the truck, but we're not that far away from having water in the camp. Now, obviously, the tent's up off the ground, the truck's up off the ground, the table's up off the ground. The only thing that would really affect is our change tent, which really doesn't have a bottom in it, so it wouldn't be that bad. But one thing to consider, maybe picking your campsite, try not to be the lowest spot around.
Well, I think we're safe. Good time to touch up my nails now. This can be a bit tricky while camping at the beach, but it's a good way to cover up some of the camping dirt.
What you doing?
I don't know if it's the heat or the humidity, but nail polish takes a long time to dry out here.
Time for me to go and explore and see what I can chase up while she waits for things to dry. These little lizards are insanely fast. You blink and they are gone.
The waves seem to be building up more and more now, and there is getting to be less and less blue in the sky. We have managed to prove the forecast wrong for a long time, but I think our luck is running short. Still not quite dry. Hey, look at that, the sun came back. Well, that changed quickly. This is our first real tropical downpour while we are camping, and being able to take cover under the awning is huge. If it wasn't for the awning, we would only have the option of being in the tent, in the truck, or in the rain. But I guess the birds don't mind it.
And still, it's way better than the weather back home.
Since it's raining so hard and we can use the awning to catch the rain, we decided to capitalize on all the fresh water and use it to refill our shower tank. Using a makeshift funnel, we filled water bottles from the wash basin, and using the same funnel screwed into the garden hose, we used gravity to our advantage to push water back into the tank. This is definitely not as easy as just hooking up a hose, and nowhere near as fast, but if you make hay while the sun shines, maybe it's wise to make showers with dark skies. Unfortunately for us, the forecast didn't look like it was going to be changing for a few days. We decided that we much prefer camping where it's not raining, so it was time to pack up in the rain and escape to drier locations. Join us next time as we shoot across from one corner to the other and experience an amazing new part of Costa Rica. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for a notification, give us a like, comment below if you have a question, and check out our associate links in the description. Most importantly, don't forget to come back next time to continue watching the adventure.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
That's better.
That's better.
That's better. That's better. That's better.
And we found 2 pineapples and a coconut.